Hi, my name is Bailey Dwyer, and I'm in Gratz Park for the 161 final right now. So, to give some perspective of where I'm standing, directly behind me is 3rd Street, which is where Transylvania University is, and so that's one of the Transylvania buildings. And then on the opposing side is 2nd Street, and right there is the Carnegie Center, to give some perspective and kind of where I'm reporting from. So my element and principles are color and harmony. And so I'm going to explore how the presence of both of those plays into the overall design of the place of Gratz Park. So something to consider in viewing this space in relation to color and harmony is that both these aspects of design are present in a multitude of scales. While each individual building has these things, they also play a role in the place in its entirety, and that is taking into account that color and harmony exist for the park as a whole. This is true, I think, for a majority, if not all, of the elements and principles, and I think we've kind of been discovering that this semester. In a web article by Kent State University, harmony is defined as all parts of a visual image, or in our case a building, relating or complementing each other. It goes on to say that harmony can be achieved through repetition and rhythm, as essentially the principle's presence is when the various elements of a structure are pulled together. So when we see the center stage building, sort of, for 3rd Street's view of Transylvania, we see the sense of harmony through repetition and balance. Classical style that we are familiar with and is present in many official government and collegiate buildings consists of both evenly spaced columns as well as windows across the front facade. This balance also comes in when we see the simple and centered tympanum across the top. There is some uniformity in it that every line of the building is very linear, with the exception of columns, which still have strict verticality. So a lot of this building's harmony is structural. As for color, this main building is a little unique as it has the same color across the board, which in the property as a whole adds some emphasis to it when it's compared to the other buildings that have a little more variation in color. As we pan over to the buildings that surround the center one, we're exposed a lot more to color individually, which again gives that contrast and importance to the main building. However, what remains the same is this classical style of official, column, structurally strong, and reference to the greatest sort of learning in these buildings. And we'll notice that because they share the style, there is this uniformity that contributes to the harmony of not only Transylvania, but the historic district, Gratz Park as a whole, as we explore some of the other structures. So the second building or area of the park that we can analyze a little further is the Carnegie Center on the opposing side of Transylvania. The color of this building, although it has a few stylistic differences, is incredibly similar to that of the center building on the Transylvania side. This is actually really interesting because in that it opposes 3rd Street, these large chunks of the same color join and actually give a sense of unity to the area of Gratz Park. So in this case, color is actually a big contributor to the harmony of the park. In more individual context, again, we see the harmony that comes from the balance and repetition within the building's facade. The concluding aspect of the area to dig into color and harmony with is what kind of contains the length of the park, and that is a residential element. The homes that surround the area are much more unique in their individual styles when they are compared to the many similarities that exist between the Transylvania campus and the Carnegie Center. Granted, there are many shared elements throughout the neighborhood, such as some of the shapes used in the houses, the general size of each structure, and some elements relative to the home's commonalities and time period. What is really significant in this overall harmony of the space is the continued use of muted colors in these houses. These homes exhibit many different colors actually, but they all have the same sort of low intensity brown and gray overlays that unify the colors throughout. A lot of this tone, I think, comes from the presence and repetition through the park of brick, as well as in a majority of the houses outlining it in one form or another. So that is how the element of color works with the principle of harmony to unify the place of Gratz Park and make it the design experience that it is. Thank you.